What's up, guys? It's Dirty Mike from the Parks Estate. Logan's not here tonight. Carson's not here tonight. But I'll tell you who is here tonight. Ethan, hard to beat Gilmore, is here tonight. We also got our producer, Mitchell Peterson. He's going to be cammed in, mic'd up. So if he wants to say something, he's going to say something. We're just coming at you raw tonight. We don't have a whole lot planned other than to get inside the head of my man over here, Ethan.
What is up? What is up? What is up?
What's going on with you, Ethan?
Not much. Just school, fishing, trying to make it through this pandemic.
Do you want me to tell these viewers who you are, or do you want to tell them who you are?
You can go ahead and start it.
All right. So we've kind of alluded to some of the personalities associated with the Auburn University bass fishing team. Dirty Mike, me. I feel like I'm one of the voices of the team. Well, if there's one person to be even with me, it's this guy, Ethan Gilmore. We call him hard to beat. Why do we call you hard to beat?
Well, the first tackle tip when Mitchell brought up the idea of starting to do it more, I said, "Oh yeah, I'll do one." I had a whole big plan come out there, and after about 72 takes, I came down to...
You did 72 takes?
Something like that. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was quite a few. I broke down, and we kept talking about these. At the time, we were sponsored by a
spot sticker.
Spot sticker.
It was spot sticker.
And I was using a screw lock shaky head. I'm not gonna tell the brand. Berkeley's got good ones.
It wasn't a Berkeley. So
it wasn't a Berkeley, but Berkeley makes some good ones. And I was talking about making it in smallmouth, getting on it, and I used Pickwick and Kentucky Lake and stuff.
Pickwick was the specific lake you mentioned.
And talking about they were hard to beat when the smallmouth got grubbing on them crawls, and it just kind of take off from there. And it's reoccurred a few times throughout the years, but that was the first big thing of it.
If you had to guess a number, how many times in your life have you used the term hard to beat?
Oh, God.
A lot.
It's become a running joke on the team.
Oh, yeah. Like,
it definitely has.
We'll be sitting out somewhere, and they go, "Oh, this is hard to beat." Like, I don't think anybody has introduced their girlfriend or anybody that they're with that I've been there, and they're like, they don't ever like, "Oh, that's Ethan." No, it's hard to beat.
I don't know who Ethan Gilmore is. I know hard to beat.
Yeah.
HTB.
Hard to
Maybe
beat.
we'll start calling you HTB. Just shorten it up. Keep it like mystic.
H2B. Hard to beat.
H2B. I like that. I could go with that.
I like that.
Get it printed up on some shirts.
So where are you from, Ethan?
I am from the mighty metropolis of Dothan, Alabama. And what's funny is they just did the survey and all that for the census, and it's like the 6th largest growing city in the country right now.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Really?
And I was like, what? I was like, no, y'all said Alabama. I was like, no, it's United States. I go, why is that? Well, if you look at how big it actually is, people go, "Oh, you know so-and-so from Dothan." I'm like, do you realize how many high schools are in the city of Dothan?
How many high schools?
When I was in high school, there was Northview, Dothan High. There was the couple private schools. There was 6 or 7 county schools.
Okay.
And so it was just massive. And what's funny is the 2 high schools that were there in Dothan were both 6A schools. And that time they were the biggest one. That's the biggest you get.
I'm just going to say, it's crazy that you think that's a lot. Because the county I went to high school in, my freshman year of high school, they opened 2 new schools, and that put us at 32 high schools, public high schools in the county. And now there's been more opened.
Well, see, all of
so
ours.
I'm talking about, I come from a dang big city.
We'll see now, like in the area we were at, where we were at in Wicksburg.
And where?
Wicksburg. It's right out. It's between, if you're heading towards Enterprise and all that out there, and you're going towards but it's between Dothan and Enterprise.
Okay.
You got Fort Rucker out there. So Fort Rucker kind of, they have expanded Wicksburg. When I was in high school, we were the smallest 2A high school. Now we're one of the largest 3As. In just a matter of 4 or 5 years, I think the second year after I graduated, it was, boom, they exploded. They've got like 4 new housing developments over there. I was like, this is crazy.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places just blowing up right now. Like, my parents live in Jacksonville, Florida. That's one of the cities on that large, like quickly growing cities. Tampa, where I'm from, that's on that list.
Tampa's always growing. I don't care what anybody says. They will find room to put a house in Tampa.
I go back to Tampa for Christmas, and I feel like I'm in a new place.
That's the way I felt like
every time.
When we came back from the break with Corona and all this, I was not here in the summer and all that. I came back. They had like 3 new housing developments that I was watching them build. I'm like, my gosh. Dad and them came up a couple weeks ago, and they came through, and they're like, where is all the, like, what happened? Like, all these places, like the Standard and all that wasn't built. 191 College, the Ave right down from where I'm at wasn't even a thought in their mind. Right there's some houses right there. I mean, it's growing, and I'm going, well, I mean, their school's expanding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I first came up to Auburn as a junior in high school, came up for a showcase for baseball. There was a Chili's in town. Nobody even knows there's ever a Chili's in Auburn anymore.
I do remember that because I came up here for football.
It was back in the day, son.
I've been here 4 years. I never knew that.
Yeah.
And when I came here, it had like a super small town feel to it. Mm-hmm. And then when I actually moved here for school, I was like, well, this isn't anything like what I remembered from this one recruiting trip, which all my Auburn experiences in my memory revolve around. And from that day to where we're at now, the city's grown like tenfold. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just blown up. And so, like, in the 5 years I've been here, like, it's hard to believe it's the same town. It's crazy how fast this place is growing.
I've been here. I mean, I came here for, like, football games and stuff, and I used to have family that who lived here. They actually lived in the same neighborhood, like, back when I was in 6th grade, so I'm not even sure how many years that is.
Neighborhood you're in?
No, that Logan lives in.
Here. Okay, yeah. I got you.
And I remember, like, thinking back then, like, getting here, most of it was still, like, under construction, so I'm not going to say exactly where in Auburn we're at right now, just for Logan's parents' sake, but I just remember, like, it was still under construction, just dirt, you know.
Just being developed.
Yeah, it was being developed. It was, like, nothing. And seeing it now, it's insane
this
how
place
fast.
Is blowing up. Like, I'm pretty convinced that Auburn's going to be, like, the next Montgomery / Birmingham of this state.
Honestly, I think it'll be bigger just because
ultimately
you still get the
will.
small town feel.
Yeah.
Because it's not really, you don't see a lot of big high rises except for the apartment complexes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to blow up where you still get that small town feel.
I think the campus is going to keep growing. Like, this is what I tell people.
I don't necessarily think Auburn itself will grow at the rate, but maybe like Opelika and surrounding cities will grow because of.
I think you're right about
because
that.
of the draw that Auburn
I think
brings.
Lochapoka will start getting bigger. Mm-hmm. Like Valley, or not Valley. Beauregard start getting bigger.
Beauregard is, I go through there all the time, and it seems like they're adding a new house every time I go through there.
It really does.
And so.
All right. We've gotten off topic.
Yeah, way off
We're
topic.
talking about.
Actually, before we get on topic, I know, so we were talking before we started, like how we're going to do, like bringing me on.
Right.
What if we kind of cut and then go into, and I'll go ahead and get in the studio with y'all. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to take a video and try to show you like what it's like. So I produced this. I've been our social media manager for 2 years.
This is Mitchell's Minute.
Yeah.
Mitchell's Minute.
I thought that sounded good.
Oh, yeah.
ML.
I'm going to take a video just to show you like how we kind of operate.
Yeah, Mitchell has been running social media for our team for
2 years.
2 years officially. But he's been doing a lot of graphic design stuff for the team since he's been on the team, which was before I was on the team.
just to
So
kinda
Mitchell
show
is just
y'all
our tech guy. He's just the team-wide tech guy.
studio in there, my laptop here, and then we use a Roadcaster. That's how we record all
Yep.
of our podcasts. And then if you want to get one of these, go to our website. I'll
Yeah.
link it down below.
Check out these tumblers.
They're really
Things
nice.
are
They
really
hold
nice.
they hold any drink well.
I
You
think,
want
they're,
to?
I think they're better than the Yetis even. So let's just go ahead and throw that out there.
We're just calling companies out.
Calling them out.
You want to cut right here, and I can jump in
Yeah.
the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
let's
for
do
it.
it.
All right, we're back. We had a little intermission. We had to adjust some things technically.
I felt like I need to be out here.
I
Just
think
have the normal.
I definitely think it's better.
It fits.
It does.
Had to do a little seat situation, so that helps a little bit.
All right.
I'm just hoping the file doesn't stop or the recording doesn't stop for some weird reason. I'm not back there to
See it.
catch it, and we just keep on talking.
We
for
keep
another-
talking for 2 hours.
We just got a whole lot of hope right now.
Oh yeah.
We're wishing and hoping.
All right, so let's get back into where we left off. My arm's awkward because I'm having to support this microphone, but that's okay. Ethan, you're from Dothan, Alabama.
Yep.
That's what, southeast Alabama?
It's southeast, like 90 minutes from Panama City, Destin, somewhere in there.
So what lakes do you grow up fishing?
I actually grew up fishing Lake Martin, which is
Okay.
kind of awkward because my grandmother, she actually lives right down the road, like 5 minutes from El Cache.
Okay.
And I love fishing that part of the river. There's some, I don't think many people think about the size spots that can grow on that one spot. Because where it comes up, there's a lot of different vegetation. There's laydowns, there's rock, there's flats, there's bridge pilings. They basically can stay there all year, and the fish you catch in that area are going to be the stationary fish that stay there all year long. They can do all what they need to right there in that creek.
Okay.
Some of the best days I've had fishing on Lake Martin. I know 2 or 3 times me and Dad have had 16, 17, 18-pound sacks right there in that creek.
Holy cow.
I mean, and
Good
it's
sack
different
from
time.
Martin.
Oh yeah, that's a great sack. Martin.
That's-
You
It's a good sack
you
anywhere.
win 90% of the tournaments out of there. And then there's and she's also she's literally a mile from there's another part of the river called Johnson's Pasture.
Right.
Locals call it Johnson's Pasture. It's called Johnson's Boat Ramp or Boat Launch or something. If you watch FLW last year, for when the pros were here, there was a ton of them in there, and they were going, all these bedfish are everywhere. That's a great, because it's got right there. There's a whole section of it that stretches. It's like 4 foot, and them spots are they just lay right up there because there's little small pebbled rocks. There's big boulders. I mean, and it's a spot that is hard to get into, but when it gets
Would you say it's hard to beat?
there, sometimes of the year it is really hard to
It's
beat.
hard to beat getting into it.
Last June, they had May or June, they had the high school qualifier for the state of Alabama for the national championship. I think it took like 12 or 13 pounds maybe to win it. And me and Dad went back in there, and we were just messing around. We just had 2 hours to kill. I made a tackle tip back in there.
Okay.
And so we caught like 20 pounds. I mean, but now it was not just all spots; it was largemouth spots. And we would have had more if we just felt like getting the net out because I mean we were throwing crankbaits and shaky heads and stuff.
That's a pretty doggone good bag.
Yeah, but that Dad knows that's a great lake for him. He loves spot fishing. We'll throw back to him on this. Early to mid 90s, he actually used to fish. Like he had a chance to go professional.
Really?
Like
I remember you telling me about.
a lot of people don't
this,
know this. Dad's a hammer. When it comes to spot fishing, he's a hammer. I got all of my spot fishing knowledge, all my fishing knowledge from him growing up. I watched him growing up fishing at ponds and stuff like that. And he goes, the best fisherman is a versatile fisherman.
Yeah.
He goes,
I agree
he said,
with that.
I don't care how good Kevin Van Dam is. He fishes fast. He fishes great. He is so dominant. 9-time angler of the year, 4-time classic champion. God, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. But the most versatile guys are the ones who last the longest. The Mark Davises, the Mark Roses, the Rick Cluns, the guys who have been fishing 20, 30 years, those are your best anglers out there. And
I agree with that.
I always, when I was growing up, I had like Kevin Van Dam was my favorite angler growing up. And the more I get into fishing, more tournament fishing, I go, I don't want to fish like Kevin Van Dam. I mean, his resume, him, Jordan Lee, they got great resumes. Jordan Lee, 2-time class champion, MLF heavy hitters winner, MLF angler of the year. You can't beat that. But Mark Rose been fishing, 20 years?
You know, I'm glad you bring up Mark Rose because I feel like he's really slept on.
He is.
But I'm telling you, you look at him in the last 10 years, there's not many derbies where he didn't cash a check. Elite Series, MLF, I don't care what it is.
If you go watch the early, another guy that's real slept on, Mark Davis and David Fritz.
I love watching Mark Davis.
Mark Davis, if you go watch the early E50s when they first came out with that, I think he won like 3 out of the 4. 3 or 4 out of his 5 he fished, 4 or 5. I'm going, this man is, and it was not like, oh, they're this lake or that lake. It was so different in the way he won. I mean, he was winning, I think it was Tennessee River. I was just watching it a couple weeks ago, bored, kind of get a chance. You kind of watch old stuff, learn stuff about fishing. He won won 2 or 3 that one year. He still finished in the top 5 for Angler of the Year for the E50s. KVD won it. I mean, he finished top 5 in all 4 of them. I think he won it.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, it's just those guys are such versatile fishermen. I want to be like those. Those guys that they can go, okay, if you need to go power fish, you can go power fish. If you need to fish a jig, you need to fish slow, you can. If you need to go out there and throw a Carolina rig, I don't think I say that I throw a Carolina rig different than a lot of people do. I mean, now the older fishermen, they throw it the way I throw it.
Yeah.
And that is one.
How do you throw it?
Talking about like 4 foot of line.
Oh, no. I throw a 65-pound braid all the way, and I take a glass bead, a ½ ounce to a 3/4 ounce, depending on how deep I want to go. And then I put a glass bead on. I put 2 glass beads. You get better sound when it knocks. When you're coming over those rocks, it just knocks a little bit better.
You think that bead makes a difference?
That extra bead makes a difference, but it also is rod position. Rod position's everything with throwing a Carolina.
Because I'm going to tell you, I throw a Carolina rig a lot. I don't put a bead on there. I'll tell you what I do. I pre-make them. And what I'll do is I'll get a little stretch of 65-pound braid. I'll get 2 swivels. I'll put my ½ ounce or 3/4 ounce weight on there. And I'll put it on the braid between the 2 swivels. And that way they're small and they don't take up a lot of space in my terminal box where I can just tie one on. And also, when I make a long cast, that weight doesn't slide back down the main line.
Yeah.
And cause my cast to actually be shorter than it is.
Oh,
my weight's stuck.
See, But
I don't put any beads on it.
I put the weights, the beads.
I throw a 15-pound mono leader, and 90% of the time I'm putting a dang tube on it, and I'm stuffing that tube with foam so it floats.
Huh, see, that's something I learned right there. I mean, but now what I do is I take the bead, the bead, and I'll put a swivel on the end of it, so when it slides back and knocks over them rocks,
it makes that
noise. It makes that clacking sound, that nice, good sound. And it depends on where I'm fishing. Like if I'm fishing somewhere where there's a lot of largemouth, I may go with a 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot leader, maybe. If I'm fishing for spots, depending on how finicky they are, I may go with a 2 foot, 3 foot leader.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to go, oh, that's too long. It just depends on where they're biting. I mean, it all depends. And I use 2-aught hooks. Right. 2-aught Berkeley hooks. Good. Fusion Berkeley hooks. And you'll throw the Berkeley hit worm on the back of that thing. Yeah. And sometimes you got to use the max scent. But I'll take some dye and sometimes dip it a little bit, depending on if I'm fishing for largemouth or spots.
Right.
But that's late Martin this time of year. Any time of year, you can catch them. I don't care where you're at. You can go down to Harris Chain. You can go down to Texas on Conroe. You can go up to St. Lawrence River and catch them on that.
Y'all see there was a 14-pounder caught on Conroe in that Big Bass tournament this weekend?
That was a massive.
Big Bass Bash, 14.4 pound bass weighed in.
Just a 14 and a half.
In the first hour of the tournament.
If that man says I
Derby won in the first hour. Like, take it to the house and come back and grab your check.
That is a mic drop.
Okay, done.
That's a mic drop. Boom, ding, whatever you want to do in the that's
a hard to beat moment right there.
That is a hard to beat moment.
It is.
I don't care what anybody says. You catch a 14-pounder in the first hour of the tournament. Mm-hmm. That's hard to beat right there.
That's hard to beat. I mean, you got to catch one bigger than 14 pounds to beat it.
I mean,
that's hard to do.
That is a. But now, was it one of those? No, that was the one where it was big fish for like 2 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a 2-day, but they have a weigh-in every hour.
Mm-hmm. See, it ain't like the Kentucky Lake one up there. That
I haven't fished that one.
That I love Kentucky Lake March. Yeah, back before all the carp got in, but I know Tennessee's trying to get them out. Kentucky's trying to work with them. It's hard to get rid of them carp. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, that's easy problem fix. No, it ain't.
No, it's not.
If you talk to those guys up there that are there every day pulling out carp, I think last March, right before the pandemic hit, we were up there getting ready to fish the Big Bass Bash up there, and then they used to have the back when it was FLW, they used to have the FLW open on Kentucky Lake. Mm-hmm. It was literally you go to Paris, Tennessee, and you drive up an hour to Paducah, Kentucky. Yeah, and you would catch. I know there's some people go, oh, there ain't no big fish in Kentucky Lake. There are some giants in that lake. Mm-hmm. They are some prehistoric.
Didn't you catch a giant in that lake?
I have caught the first funny story. The first time I ever went to Kentucky Lake, I literally had 2 hours of practice before we had to be off the water and go to the meeting. Yep. And I've been studying for the last. It was a 12.5-hour drive from my home. You got to stop and fill the truck up, and you got to make sure you got the boat and everything. Right. And so you got to eat something because when you leave at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of you got to eat breakfast.
Can't be fishing on an empty stomach.
No. And so we pull up there.
It don't work.
Oh no! First spot we pull. Go. I've been watching.
That's why I'm fat.
I don't feel bad. I'm there with you. But the first spot we roll up to, I've been studying navionics, been studying the looking at the graphs, looking at everything, and I go watching videos, and I go, this spot looks like there ought to be fish on it, and it was funny. It was like 2 or 3 foot high, maybe even higher than that. I don't remember exactly what the water depth was at.
Like the water level?
All I know is I caught a 4.5 out of a doghouse on a spinnerbait.
Holy cow.
First cast.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's cool. Like, I literally pull up this spot and I said, I'm just going to start right here. It was like timber, rock, sandy flat, and it was 19 foot. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to throw a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. And I was like, okay, this is probably not going to work, but hey, it's what I had tied on. I ain't got but 2 hours.
Whatever.
You got to run with it.
I remember, I forget who was telling me this on the team. This was, I think, 3 years ago at the Big Bass Bash. I think it was JP. And I could be wrong on this, but I think y'all have heard the story where he caught, I think it was like an 8-pounder.
It was JK.
JK. Yes.
It was my dog JK.
That's what it was. Like 1 minute before.
And you want to hear the funny part of this?
There's a camp.
I watched him catch that fish literally 50 yards from me.
It was like 100 yards from blast off, too.
No, he was about a quarter of a mile. It was a quarter of a mile. Because I knew
it was a little bit farther.
Because he was, and I looked at him, I said, dang, them guys done caught one. I looked at my clock and it said 7 o'clock on mine, but mine was a minute fast. I said, well, when it's 7:01, we'll throw in. Yeah. He catches us. I see somebody going, woo, yeah. And I go, I don't think they realized it ain't time yet.
There was a camera boat on him, too.
Yeah, and that was the funniest. And I go, Dad, I was like, man, somebody caught like a 7.5 or 8-pounder down there. He goes, yeah, I had to throw it back.
That's terrible.
I was like, and then they have to serve like an hour penalty.
I don't know about that.
Somebody said they had. I've heard the story from multiple people, and they said somebody said they had to serve an hour penalty after they threw the fish back.
I haven't heard I haven't
But
heard
no,
about that, but we can definitely find out for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because I want to know if they made them serve an hour penalty. That kind of because that first hour bite was nasty. I mean, I don't get it.
I mean, imagine catching a 7+ first hour of the day.
and to think he would have gotten the top 10
Whether
for
it's
the entire tournament.
whether it's a big bass tournament or a best 5 tournament. Imagine catching a 7 and having to throw it back.
Did I not hear? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Logan and them catch a 8-pounder on bed at St. Lawrence River and had to throw it back?
Yeah, they hooked it outside the mouth.
You know that has got to be sickening.
It was brutal.
Because I think that would have put him in like what, second or third?
And I'm
assuming
if
you
I
mean largemouth.
No,
It was a smallmouth.
it was a
most
smallmouth.
smallmouth.
And I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, it was on their final day.
Yeah, it was day 3.
Which they caught.
and
caught
I think they
like
didn't catch
24, 25 pounds day 1 and 2.
and I think they didn't catch for like 11 the
and
second,
they didn't
third day.
They did not have a big bag the third
And I was
day.
like, oh
and
my
I'm
God.
pretty sure that happened on the third day.
I was
That
like,
one won
my
the
gosh,
tournament?
that is.
Yeah. It was
No, I think they would have finished like second. I was looking at it because I was trying to figure out. I was like telling bad stories of like fish catches and stuff like that.
because they went into the day in first place.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
And
then
they
did
ended in 12th.
But now, hey, you got to. I mean, ethically, you got to.
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's outside the mouth, you got to throw it back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
No.
we're not condoning. No, they did the right thing.
It
that
just
was
sucks.
It's
Don't
just
go
it's a
snagging
bad
fish.
situation all the way around.
That
And,
is not a hard to beat situation.
No, that is
Very easy to beat situation.
Sometimes that is a 2-flusher of a day.
Yes.
And
You're dang right.
but the funny story getting back to the Kentucky Lake up there that first trip, it was the guy I was fishing with. He fished with Peyton McCord in high school,
Okay.
and the funny story was he caught a 7 like that first day like.
Also, before you go on, Peyton McCord, team member, no free shout-outs. Go ahead.
No free shout-outs.
He's pretty good.
He's a hammer on you, follow. We're gonna be honest.
He's not
He's
bad.
okay.
No.
He's definitely not bad.
No. And but the guy I was fishing with, he I think I lost like 5 or 6 fish that first day in practice. That first day of the tournament, and like practice was great. But a 4.5 had a 5 come up to the boat with my spinnerbait in its mouth. We just dipped it up. Like it just did not want to let go of the spinnerbait.
But it wasn't hooked.
No,
It
it
was
literally
just
got
holding
into
on?
the net and spit the spinnerbait.
Huh.
I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, we're going to have a great day tomorrow. Like, we're about to wreck them. And I think that was the year it took, all but one, it took a 5-pounder to beat in the top 10 for every segment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is crazy. Did catch my first smallmouth there.
Okay.
And it still was not the big smallmouth caught there. Some guy caught a 6-something smallmouth. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, there's some giants over here. Next year we roll up there. I think they canceled the big bass that year because of flooding and all that.
I remember
Yep.
that. Yeah.
FLW's like, we're going to go out of Paducah, Kentucky. The only way it's not is if the ramp's washed away in the morning. And I think the first day, I don't know how many of y'all know the story. I got to this point, and I had caught a 4 in practice, a couple 3s off this one spot for like 4 days. And so I knew they were there. They were there. And I get to the spot, and one of the guys I was fishing, I had traveled up with, not a guy on our team. I'm not going to give him a free shout-out. So they went, and there was 2 points in this section of the river. And the first point was riprap. The other one was like boulder mixed with clay sand, just like at Martin.
Okay.
And I wanted to fish the boulder with clay sand because I had caught some big ones off there. But the riprap had cypress trees. Well, when I first got there, the cypress trees were about a foot out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could see a foot of the tree. They were about 4 foot on the first day of practice. The first day of the tournament, it was like 4 foot. Like there was no water around them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had pulled off them cypress trees. Well, they had pulled over to the clay rock. Well, that guy was sitting on it, and they caught almost 20 pounds that first day, and I was like, "This is crazy." But what happened was I dropped my phone fishing on this spot. I was trying to move my phone from my pocket to my console, and I leaned over, and it slid out my jacket, hit the deck of the boat, hit the gunnel of the boat, and went straight in at 8 foot of water.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there trying to reach it. I take my rain suit off, everything, to make sure I can try not to fall into this water. Because it's like air temp of like 28, water temp of like 32.
Ooh.
It is freezing up there. Maybe been 32, 33. It was cold. And I fell in with the net. That was the coldest 7-mile run back to the boat ramp I've ever had in my life.
Believe it.
Yeah.
And I was doing like 30 because I did not want to get there.
Yeah.
And I remember Kevin Hunt was loading up the live well boat where they do the blast off and you got to run by them. And,
Right.
And he goes, "What happened?" I said, "I fell in." He goes, "Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow." I go, "I got about 6 more hours to fish." And he goes, "You do what you can." He goes, "But he said, I don't blame you if you go back to the hotel tonight." I think I went back. I caught 4 fish, only 1 keeper. But that was you talk about days of just moral victories.
Yeah.
I had 2 hours. I weighed in at like 2 o'clock, and I got back on the water at like 12.
Jeez.
And it was a moral victory to even catch that one 14-inch mean mouth. 14 or 15, whatever the limit is up there. And that was a moral victory. Second day, I got on a spot, caught 2 dozen smallmouth. And they were fat. I'm talking about they had been eating. They've been munching on them crawfish. And they were so fat, they looked like little footballs, that they could not. It didn't care how hard you pressed them down. You could have dropped an elbow on them. They were not going 15 inches. I didn't care what you did. You could have took a roller out there and rolled them things out, and they still weren't going 15. And I threw back 2 dozen, and they were like 2 3/4, stuff like. I mean, they were big, 2 3/4, 3 pound smallmouth, and they just would not measure. And that was one of the most frustrating but most fun I've had. But I like that lake. That's one of my favorites.
I know you talk about that lake.
I love that lake. But since the carp got into it real bad.
See, I remember this was a little over a year ago when they did the Big Bass Bash it was in the fall.
Yeah,
yes. Was it September, October? Somewhere
around there.
I was fishing with Chase Clark and Cody Griffith and Chase's boat, and just on side scan, you could just see thousands of them.
Yep. I've seen pictures and videos. And
if you ever, there's a YouTube video, no free shout outs to Scott Martin, but he does one up there, and he's taking a treble hook. He just like, oh, there's a school of carp. He just lobs that thing out there and just snags one. And it's because they're everywhere. I'll tell you a lake that a lot of people don't talk about that they got them in there bad is Cherokee.
Is that carp bad?
Oh my gosh.
There's no dang grass for them to eat.
Oh, there is. If you fish the south end of the lake, when you're coming out of the boat ramp, there's
when I fished
there is clumps. Like I'm talking about that little table over there. If you don't know, it's about the size of a car hood. They're just everywhere. And you'll sit there and oh my gosh.
Me and Peyton Nance.
Throw a jerk bait by that thing and see how many thumps you get on that thing. You'll either catch a bass or you'll catch 50 carp. I mean, and if you catch one in a creek, if you catch one carp in a creek, you just leave that creek alone.
Remember, Cherokee was like my first introduction to college bass fishing.
See,
I fished with Peyton Nance.
Wasn't that
Oh,
that it was just like lit?
Oh,
like everybody was catching them?
No, well, if you ran, there was like a 40 something mile run up towards the dam, and it was a tail race. I mean, the guys who had the faster boats were getting up there, and they were catching 13, 14 pounds.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was like 12, I think is what. And if you caught, I think it was 23 for 2 days, you made the cut to move on to the final.
Yeah.
Because that's back before they did the 12. It was like whatever made it to the national championship, you made it to the final day.
I mean, that's pretty good.
You ended up having 32 boats, I think was what was up there.
It was a lot, yeah.
And that was, I think I fished that tournament. No, I had graduated from community college and did not have a single day of practice. I got there at Cherokee at 12 a.m. I mean, no. I got there at Cherokee at 4 a.m. Had to be at the boat ramp at 4:30. And had to fish all day. Hank Weldon Sat there and I pulled up at 4:30, gave him all my information and all that because I had to miss the meeting. I wasn't gonna miss graduation.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't graduate, but what, 2 or 3 times?
2 or 3 times.
If you're me, you graduate about 3 or 4.
Oh Lord. I was trying to convince my partner, buddy Ryan, what tournament? There's some tournament that's like right on graduation or something.
Is it Cumberland?
I think that's what it is.
Cumberland is finals week.
That's
it's it's the June 9th and 10th on the TBA that Bass has got, I think.
Yeah, but no, there's a tournament on finals week.
Yeah, that's Cumberland.
It's
It's Cumberland. And I'm like, why would you do that to all of us high school students? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Finals week. But now, granted, I guarantee you we're the only ones that got finals that week.
Yeah.
The others will take theirs before. But that's a league I've always wanted to fish.
I've always wanted to go to Cumberland too.
There's another one. It's called, oh gosh, why did it leave my brain? It literally just left my brain. It's up there.
Below Cumberland that kind of connects to Kentucky. Is it Baker or something? No.
It starts with an N. Like,
Not Nickajack.
Not Nickajack.
No, Nickajack's up there.
That's Tennessee River.
That's Tennessee River, but it's above,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, there's a place up there this
I know
time
where
of
you're
year
talking
when it gets cold.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah.
It connects to Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
Like right at the end of it.
It's
like right before the dam, there's like a little canal.
No. You're thinking up there. That's up at Paducah. Up there at Culver. It's around there, Paducah, Kentucky, Culver City, up in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think both times I fished up there at the Kentucky Lake, the first year it snowed when we were leaving.
I remember that year. Mm-hmm.
It was, and the second year it rained and then snowed on the way out. I think they got like 4 inches of snow the next day as we were heading out.
Okay.
But it's not. I don't think the lake's on the river. That is the thing. Like, I don't think it's on the river. I think it's right up around there.
Like it's connected to the river still, or if its own little body of water.
It may be its own little body of water. I watch a ton of fishing shows, but a ton. I can't explain how many hours of fishing shows I've watched.
Are you talking about Dale Hollow?
Thank you, Dale Hollow.
Oh, I've heard of Dale Hollow. Yeah.
Dale Hollow. This time, when it gets like January, February, them spots. I don't care what, because it thaws out finally.
Mm-hmm.
They catch the mess out of them up there.
Really?
Yes, and there's some big spots in that. There's some smallmouth I think up there that are pretty big too. But I know these spots are.
I've heard Dale Hollow is a good smallmouth lake.
Yeah, but that time of the year, the spots, them big spots, and what they do is it's so cold up there. The spots, they're like really lethargic, so they don't fight much. They fight like cold largemouth. Okay. It's kind of like catfish, dude, barely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it's so fun. You can catch biggins up there. That's one of my places I want to go up to, definitely.
I gotcha.
Because that's just fun up there.
So what would you say is the lake you want to fish more than any lake, but that one that you haven't been to yet?
It depends on the species, really. Like, if I want to go catch
your largemouth bucket list lake.
Largemouth bucket list, Toho, Okeechobee down in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe out at Texas they've got they got Red River, Rayburn. Sam Rayburn's a place. Buddy I fished with
Rayburn's one of the coolest places I've ever fished.
Buddy, he was out in the military and he lived out in there for a few years, and he talked about how fun it is to fish on Sam Rayburn and the big. I'm talking about. He goes, it does not matter at any cast. It's just like down there in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Any cast, it could be an 8, 9, 10 pounder. And what was it at Rayburn they caught last year on the Texas Team Trail? Was it like 49?
49.
Almost 50 pounds.
And then a guy caught a 50-pound limit this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fishing a BFL out there.
I felt bad, honestly, for the guy that was in second place. He caught like 28 pounds. It's like, man, I got this thing in the back. 50 pounds. I lost by 20-something pounds.
Yeah.
Like, how that makes you feel bad. Like, I did as good
true.
It's like I got beat by 20.
Think about people who zeroed and lost by 50 pounds.
I don't care how bad it is. Like, if you catch one fish, if I catch one fish in a tournament, I want to weigh that thing because I feel like I ain't zeroed.
Mm-hmm.
But now there are lakes like Martin and stuff that like if I don't catch a limit,
Yeah.
I have felt like I had failed on the like that is places like there's lakes like that where you go.
Martin's easy to catch a limit, but it's incredibly hard to catch weight.
They have the Martin limits and
That
when
old
people
5 for 5.
oh, and people don't. I think people who fish Martin just sporadically they go, oh, that Martin limit is like 10 pounds. No, that Martin limit is not 10 pounds. That Martin limit is like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And that's what I caught. We fished last week out there, and I think I had like 7. No, I had 678.
Dang.
But now what was bad was in practice I had like 13.
You hate to see that, and
I
you
mean,
hate to hear it.
But it's
13
like
in spots or mixed?
no, it was practice was all spots.
Okay.
I had a spot that we really caught some on. I don't think we intended to catch them like we did.
Mm-hmm.
Caught a 3-pounder and a 3 1/4.
Okay.
And we started the day off like second cast 2.5. And you catch a 2.5 spot, that thing puts a pretty good fight.
Yeah, it was a good fighting
I mean,
fish.
and so we ended up at like 12, 13 pounds. And I'm like, we got a chance here. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't take but 13 something to win the ABT out here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get on there and you're going,
Is that all it took for that?
it took $13.99, I think $13.99 maybe, a little under 14.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
But now I knew it was gonna be tough. I mean, this time of the year, you either know how to like when it's cold.
Yeah.
I think if it had stayed cold, I'd have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it warmed up and the sun came out all day.
Changes things.
Like the baits I was catching on in practice, I didn't catch a single fish on the baits I threw in practice. My partner, he did. He threw your typical Martin stuff
Mm-hmm.
and was catching. I think I caught drop shot, Carolina rig, chatterbait, stuff like that. I mean, just stuff that's kind of off the wall. Like normally this time of year, crankbaits hard to beat.
Yeah, it is hard to beat.
It's hard to beat.
I threw a
you
crankbait yesterday out there. Didn't get a single bite.
I threw it for
Really?
2 days.
Now,
2
granted,
days threw a crankbait and
I
could not get a
barely
bite.
throw. I don't know why, but I just don't throw crankbaits.
Oh, I love
So,
crankbaits. Like if I can go
Well, you
catch
know
my
license
crankbait,
plate, you know how I like to fish.
I am
the good old
The old Ned rig.
I am a
Yeah,
cranking son of a gun.
oh yeah.
I will say that.
I love crankbaits. That's just something. Crankbaits. I hate jerkbaits. Like
I
people
hate
are like,
them too. My brother.
I've grown to love them.
Dude,
I know you
I
whipped
bet
my
you-
rear end on Smith when the first time I fished with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You took me to school on a mega bass jerkbait, and I was like,
That wasn't a mega bass,
no.
was it?
Yeah, it
a
was the
while.
Vision. It was the Vision 110 plus one.
That's
Because
all
we
I
went
thought.
up in that creek. We went up that creek mouth, and you're like, I'm about to. And what's funny was
Sorry.
we did not know that at Smith, or we were not told when we blasted off there was a slot limit.
How long ago was it? This was 3
Golly,
years
2
ago?
or 3 years ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
How many of those 14 and a half
Oh, I know.
did we catch and have to
I
throw back?
remember like how I was catching them. I remember one specific fish. I was flipping that jerk bait up into a brush pile and just popping it twice and letting it sit there, and they would come out and eat it.
My favorite
Really?
was the one you flip right up under that little lip of the rock, and that one was sitting back up in the rock, and we couldn't see it because it was kind of dark back in there, and all of a sudden you see a fish just come out and just eat it.
Yeah.
And I think I caught one or two fish that day.
That sounds badass.
But I remember like we
But
had our live
now-
well full, and then
And then somebody
it was
come up.
UNA or Monteval. I think it was UNA.
UNA goes, hey,
One of the
y'all know
guys-
there's a slot limit, right? Do what?
We looked and like, what are you talking about?
I called.
I thought we just looked it up. I think I looked it up online.
You looked it up, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna call the tournament directors to figure out what's going on here. Like, I don't want to have to throw back 14.
Yeah.
What do we have? Like 10 or 11 pounds? Like, would have won it.
Yeah. I get what
And
you're saying. Yeah.
we'd have won it with the weight we had. It's just what the size. We had one 15-incher, and that was a
That
a
sucks.
great day of fishing. That just kind of.
We caught him. It just wasn't.
My
nothing
gosh,
over
I mean,
15. We had like.
I caught one.
4,
My
14 and a
favorite
half
fish
inch
catch though, the first keeper of the day, was that 12-incher over that lay down in 6 inches of water. I threw that chatterbait, and I was not trying to throw it that far, and it landed into like a treetop, and it just brought over the top of it, and that fish come over the tree and just ate it. But Mitchell kicked my rear end on that jerkbait, and I was like, I need to learn how to throw that.
That was right as I was, because I only started throwing jerk baits like my first year here. Because like growing up fishing, me and my dad, it was just beat the bank, very basic stuff. And then I came to Auburn, joined the team here, and I was like,
You got dialed.
There was so much more stuff that I learned just from joining the team. Like, I became a better fisherman just from hearing all the guys. And
I learned one of the things I learned was like you had to learn how to drop shot. Like that's one of the most important things I think I've had to learn. And
learning how to do that will put keepers in your boat.
I don't care where exactly.
Yep.
Let's see, where was it? And I went to one of the guys that used to be on the form team. We went up and fished in a layup there, and I had been on a flipping bite, like taking 3/16 ounce weights, 5/8, and flipping them up right up next to grass mats. And you'll sit there and you'll watch them run out. And it was funny because it was not largemouth like you would think. It was spots. But now the water was in like 9 to 10 foot of water with grass at the top of it. And those spots would run out with it, and you flip them. They would run right at the boat with it bait, and you basically just reeled it real fast and flipped them into the boat.
Yep.
And I watched one of the guys. He beat my eyes in on drop shot. And it was like June, and I go, Dad, I got to learn how to fish a drop shot. I got it was bad. And I first learned to drop shot on, and it's not a Berkeley rod. Berkeley's got a great drop shot rod. I'm not Abu Garcia. Sorry,
the hat you're wearing.
Yep, my bad. Abu's got great.
Hey, Berkeley makes rods too.
They do.
They got the old lightning rod.
The lightning rod, yes. Dad uses a lightning rod.
And the cherry wood.
He uses a lightning rod. The lightning rod, I think it's the 2.0s. They are great. They're really good. I think Berkeley's one of our sponsors, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just didn't want to be like advertising Berkeley over here. But no,
Berkeley is our main sponsor.
Yeah, that's
Berkeley Abu Garcia.
Yeah, Berkeley and Abu. But he uses a Berkeley lightning rod, and he goes, I love them. He goes, they're great, good drop shot rods. And I learned on a skeet reese, and if I don't know how flimsy them things are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know.
You can get them from Walmart for like $35. Used to, anyways. And that was the rod and the reel. Like, it was cheap, but the sensitivity on that thing was phenomenal. And when I was first learning, I needed to be able to feel the bottom. And Dad took me over to Lake Eufaula, and he's like, "This is the only thing we're putting in the boat." We put one drop shot rod, took everything else out, and so I had to sit there for 2 days. And I was miserable because I would catch one fish. I caught one fish for like $2.84, and I was so stoked. Like you could have thought I won the classic.
Really?
I mean, because going all day and not catching a single bite for 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that $2.84
That
made
sucks.
yeah. I mean, that's.
So what's your favorite way to catch them?
Chatterbait. I love it. I love like
The old chatter wagon.
But now I throw it way different. I have like 4 different types I throw when I like different variation, like ways I throw it.
You just dialed it in.
I have one I throw in the early spring. I actually have one I throw in the wintertime.
Okay.
Like January. I got one I throw January, February, March. Different variation colors, different trailers. I'll go with the swim. I throw it. I'll throw a jig. I'll throw a little jig trailer on the back of it. The little swim bait on the back of it. Depending, and again, it's on the depth, the size. There's different companies coming out with like 3/4. I want somebody to come out with a good, like, ounce chatterbait. But I hadn't found one that makes an ounce yet.
Jackhammer has an ounce.
They just came out with a 3/4.
They got an ounce. And they got an ounce and a quarter.
I ain't paying $18.
Well,
I mean,
that's a different issue.
Exactly. I ain't paying $18 for a Z-Man jackhammer. And I'm going, no, I ain't doing it. I ain't paying $18 for one.
If we're going to pay $25 for a jerkbait, you might as well pay $18 for a chatterbait.
I don't pay $25 for a jerkbait.
You don't have to when you got the dang Berkeley cutter.
Exactly. Was that like $7, $8?
$8.
$8. See, that's a perfectly good jerkbait right there.
It straight up catches them.
Dang right. That's hard to
I bet
beat.
you I've caught over 30 species of fish on a Berkeley cutter.
I want to try, and I
'Cause
have tried.
I throw a lot in salt water.
I was about to say
See,
where
I
you're
was gonna
going
say,
with
I was
that.
like, that's got to be saltwater. I'm going 30 species. You got on that redfish bite with him.
I'll catch bait with the dang Berkeley cutter. And then we go group for
Go
fishing.
catching those little squirrels.
Catch the crap
squirrel
out of
fish.
some ladyfish with it.
Here, y'all keep. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'm also gonna make sure
We're still recording.
Yeah.
everything.
Go check on that.
Oh yeah.
But I'll be right back.
But
All right, so let's keep on moving. Let's get into inside the head of hard to beat. What brought you to Auburn?
actually, the education really did. I came here originally to do pharmacy, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. But things and change, things happen in life, and I've changed different paths. So right now I'm looking. Everything goes right. Everything goes right. Graduating in next December.
Okay.
So I'll get one more year of fishing, but I don't know how much fishing I'm gonna actually be able to do.
It's hard to squeeze that in sometimes.
It is, especially when you're getting right down to your main
Yeah.
courses and stuff. But
You grew up an Auburn guy?
when you grow up in State Alabama, you either come out with crimson and white or orange and blue. My granddaddy, he came to
So
Auburn
you
back.
came out the right way.
Yeah, he went to API.
Okay.
Right after World War II, he came in, did his education. He actually graduated in the agriculture building, right where
Comer Hall.
no, Sanford, the big build, it says
That used to be the ag?
yes, that was the engineer. It says engineering and agriculture.
Really?
Yes, it was and he actually, when he was here, he used to be the guy who stayed in the. He used to lock up the library at night, and so
Okay.
they let him stay inside the library while he locked up.
Okay.
Since he locked up, and that's where he stayed while he graduated and everything. And he actually he had a double major in agriculture.
Okay.
He had agricultural. It's called animal husbandry, and it's the studies of like how to break down the genetics and how to properly breed cows
Right.
to get what you want out of them.
Right.
And so he had 2 degrees in agriculture, and when he graduated, he lived up until 2014. Orange and blue blood in him. That was his favorite things to do on Saturdays, watch Auburn football. He watched Auburn basketball, baseball. It didn't matter if it was Auburn, he watched it. And
I love to hear that.
oh yeah, he was on. And my dad grew up an Auburn fan and actually graduated from the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa.
It's a little backwards.
Well, he's still an Auburn fan. He goes, I got 2 degrees from Alabama, but I'm still an Auburn fan.
There you
And
go.
but it was just it's a great time hearing him talk about his stuff. And the funny story is, the first time I ever went to Tuscaloosa, we went for his graduation. Mom thought, it's just because I'm an Auburn fan. I actually physically got sick the first time I went to Tuscaloosa. Was running a fever, sick as a dog up there. And I give her a hard time about this sometimes. Just going, yeah, I physically got sick up there. You just thought I was being a bad Auburn fan. Like, there's still some, like, getting to look at the history of football, because I'm a big football guy.
Right.
Football, baseball, I love that. Looking at the history of sports and all that, I love looking at just different universities, stuff like that. But that was the first time I ever went to Tuscaloosa. I got sick. It was
I've
bad.
never been to Tuscaloosa, so
I don't plan on
twice.
going back.
I don't like it.
It's like first time I ever went there. I don't plan on going back.
who can like that place?
I just
People who went to
I don't know.
Alabama.
yeah.
How about let's
I mean,
be
like, I have
honest.
a lot of friends who go there because my high school, I think 30 people went to Auburn and like 50 people or something went to Bama. So I have a lot of friends there. So I've gone over there a few times. But
See, that's the complete opposite. Like I have Troy right
Yeah.
down there, right down the road from me, and they have a campus in Dothan. And so I had buddies who went to Troy, like 10 or 12 of them, like went to Troy, and they were all in a fraternity together. And
using the restroom.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Me and Ethan keep carrying on.
oh yeah, well, and he sat there and he talked about he goes, you either went to the community college community colleges down there in Dothan, or you went to Troy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had some that went to Auburn.
Yeah.
You didn't have but like one or two ever go to Alabama.
Well, see, because I'm from Birmingham, and Tuscaloosa from Birmingham is like about 45 minutes away.
Oh, that's not far. See,
No,
that's
it's real close.
See, that's like going to Troy for us down there. It's 45 minutes to Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't tell you how many games I've gone to Troy and watched them play.
Mm-hmm.
Still, my favorite is going to. We got tickets to watch them play against the ULM Warhawks. I think is what it was. Cannot remember. Don't quote me.
Monroe.
Yeah. And we watched them actually.
I graduated from there actually.
See, we're throwing out useful knowledge now.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and watched the game. We had tickets for like the nosebleeds. Well, we were on the ULM side.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is literally absolutely nobody there.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we sitting in the upper deck up here, 4 rows from the top? Well, I go sit right down in front and see I was high school,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to say like freshman, sophomore, junior maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the cheerleaders right in front of us. Like, why do I go down there and sit in front of the cheerleaders? Like that was the most fun because at halftime they come up there and sat with us at the end of half, and we just got to talk with them, and it was it was great. Like, and it's funny because like most people think, oh, the people, the cheerleaders, oh, they don't know about football.
Oh,
Some of them people, they knew, like they were going,
game.
oh yeah, so and so's been run for like 285 yards the last 2 games. It's like, do what? Like, it throws you off because you don't think, and you always hear the stereotypical stuff like, oh, they can't be they're cheerleaders. They don't like football. Some of them get diehard into it.
I mean, when you're at every game, and
You're at
assuming if you're a cheerleader in college,
you're
most likely
high
also
school
been in
even. High school, you're there every game. You're at every football, basketball. See, and we didn't have cheerleaders in baseball. That's just that's a little
like
weird.
some of them, like they've been around football for 8 years, and if you're around sport for 8 years, you're
8
gonna
years.
pick up at least
Some
a
of them have been
little
doing it
something.
since they were like 5 and 6 years old.
True.
I mean, back home we had Little League football.
Same here, yeah. So
And, You started at 5, 6 years old, and you went all the way to you graduated high school. And I started playing.
Like that from
I think
middle school.
7, 8 years old. I started playing football, and I played all the way until I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love but now
See, I had to quit it freshman year, but that's a whole nother story.
see, we had I think one year we had like 21, 22 people on our entire team.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So you had just barely, if somebody got hurt,
You're kind of screwed.
you couldn't scrimmage really. I mean, that was the thing. Like, you couldn't scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have no high school fishing and all that growing up.
I think we got high school fishing at Trustful, I think like my junior or sophomore year. But by that point, I was so into lacrosse that like I didn't have time for
Now
it.
that is a manly sport, lacrosse. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, you get
It's
hit
so
one of
much
them.
hate. It's hilarious.
You get hit one of them. What do they call the sticks or
Just
what?
the stick, yeah.
I didn't know if there was a proper name for it. But you get hit one of them things. I feel
Shaft.
like that thing gets.
Oh no, it's I know.
I feel like it hurts.
One of my best friends from high school. I remember. Oh, here we go. Mike is back.
I'm about to roast Mitchell for being a lacrosse
Oh,
player.
let's go.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
one of my I know a couple people who broke their hands just from like getting it whacked. It's interesting sport for sure.
I mean,
I love it.
I mean, hockey's another man. I mean, that is. I've always wanted to play hockey just because you got to be a man to play hockey.
Lacrosse is basically
And
like a mix between hockey and soccer almost.
I'll tell you what my baseball coach told us.
Oh Lord, the old lacrosse baseball feud is great.
No. I think the football lacrosse
He
was
said-
just right up under it.
My baseball coach said soccer's for guys who can't play baseball and lacrosse is for girls.
No, soccer is for girls who can't play football. Because if you ever watch women's soccer, that's actually they get physical in that.
Mm-hmm.
Watching men do it is just they're wimpy. Like you barely touch somebody and they
At least lacrosse is a contact sport. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
I'll tell you what I really liked was the lingerie football league. That was just grade A entertainment. It was. I'm not wrong.
But them girls would lay somebody out.
They
too. Like,
would. They didn't play
I think
around.
They got enjoyment out of taking somebody's head off.
Like, I'm talking
Like,
fear.
like, oh yeah, like some of them girls, I would be scared to go against. Like, that was just like,
I
ain't really
clothesline them.
I'm really, nah. There's some big girls out here. Like they just look like they've been hitting the gym too much.
Oh yeah.
So I know we got into the legend of Hard to Beat. I want to hear a little bit about the legend of Dirty Mike, because I know like we talked about going into that the first episode. We never did. I kind of want to hear about that.
What do you want to hear?
Where
So
did
to
it
start,
start?
Should we just start?
like I remember sophomore year first meeting.
I'll tell you something's funny. The Auburn Bass team is not the first time my nickname has been Dirty Mike.
That does not surprise me. That does not surprise me one bit at all.
Like growing up in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
playing football and stuff out in the neighborhood in the summer, I was just Dirty Mike.
Were you a dirty player in high school? Dirty?
I wasn't a dirty player.
Was that it? Is that why they called you dirty?
But
Mike?
like I was one of those kids who like when we're playing football, I'm getting after it.
Okay.
oh yeah,
like- And like by the time we're done, I'm just covered in dirt.
Okay.
see now that is
Like
a
it was a
logical,
very literal term.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So now the second coming, like my more
So before you get into like that first meeting, I kind of want to tell the story from my perspective.
yeah, let's hear it from your perspective.
So this was my sophomore year on the team, and every year like we have our introductory meeting.
First meeting of the year.
So anyone who's interested in joining the team can come and just kind of see what it's like, and we go around for every new guy or girl that comes, and just introduce themselves, their name, major, and like biggest fish is typically what we do.
Right.
And I remember just sitting there, and Mike standing up goes, "Hello." Like, first time talking to everybody on the team. Not anybody on the team, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Just, "Hello, I'm Dirty Mike," and the whole room erupts in laughter. Like, you're not expecting it.
In the span of 3 seconds, I became the most popular person on the fishing team.
Exactly. Everyone wanted to talk to
And
me
this
with a
was
name
all
like Dirty Mike.
thanks. This was all thanks to Tiffany, because
No free shout-outs, yeah.
she was sitting next to me and she looks at me. I don't even know this girl.
Mm-hmm.
She was a girl on the team. We just happened to sit next to each other, and she looks at me and she goes, I guess we started talking, and I introduced myself as Mike, and she goes, "I bet you don't have the balls to introduce yourself as Dirty Mike." And I said, "All right, let's do it." And so right then it happened, and I was instantly known by every person in this room. Like, it was just one of those situations where I did something to make myself stand out. And I standed out. I stood out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so the name's kind of just stuck. But I feel like my persona, my personality, as far as hanging out with people from the team and doing stuff, just the way I talk and the things I say, it kind of just goes with the whole name, Dirty Mike. Like, I don't have much of a filter. Let's leave it.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
I know y'all
I get carried away at times, and so I guess my personality just kind of fits with the name Dirty Mike.
I guess that engine running and it just kind of.
Once you prime this pump, it's time to go.
As my granddaddy would say, he has got diabetes of the blowhole.
That's great.
Diabetes of the blowhole.
I'm trying to think. So, I know like most people's impressions of me when I first joined, and I know this was a year before y'all joined the team,
Right.
had to have been interesting. So, like,
Why is that?
so I don't really talk about this whole lot, but if you go through my Instagram, you'll kind of see what I'm referring to. So this goes back to.
Well, now I got to see the picture.
So you know where I'm going with this.
I got to see the picture now just so I can reference it. I probably know what you're talking about, but
You probably know what I'm talking about, yeah. So let's start the story back summer after senior year of high school.
Okay.
I remember one of my best friends, Trevor. what was it? We were in Walmart or something, just talking around, and he mentioned something. It's like, I'm going to get a blonde streak in my hair. And I just looked at him and go, if you get a blonde streak, I'll get a blonde streak. 2 weeks later, I remember sitting in both of our friends' house. They're bleaching our hair. So this is, like summer, like I have a blonde streak. 'Cause, I wear my hair, it's up and stuff, so there's just a blonde streak going through it. So
Yeah, a little
then
bit
I
of
get to
skunk
Auburn,
hair.
it's still there. I think I joined the lacrosse team here first. And then did that for a little bit, for like a few weeks, and it was practice at like 8 to 10 p.m. at night every weekday. At 8 a.m., so I'm like, I'm not doing this. Joined the bass team. Best decision I ever made. Honestly, the best decision I ever made, quitting lacrosse and joining the bass team. Just the friends I've made on this team, just the stories and everything is fantastic. But I remember
it pretty much is its own like fraternity. Like,
oh yeah,
it really is like.
Mm-hmm.
I do think we need to come up with our own Greek letters. Just get that.
I always just said, let's just call it the fish house. You got the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Fish house.
Why aren't we the fish house?
But
We need some big donors to build us a fish house.
so I remember I joined the team late. This was like the third qualifier or something we had. Or something. I remember, like, just going into it was just awkward. I remember, I don't think you'll know, Armando.
I know Armando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he was president at the time. I was like, yes, sir, and stuff. He goes, you do not have to call me. I just, like, embarrassed myself. I felt like I was embarrassed.
Well, Armando, wasn't he like Anthony? Like he was.
Yeah, he was older.
He was
but
older. Like
But at the same time, it's like, we're all in college. It's not a. He was like 30. I was
Yeah.
19. So, like, yeah, that makes sense. But
he was almost old enough to have fathered you, so that kind of.
I hope not. He would be 10 years old. And what are you talking about?
It's a young pregnancy.
I said almost. Okay. I mean,
But it's like me coming into the bass team wearing, I think I was wearing like skinny, I just looked very out of place with a blonde streak. Looking back at it now, it's just
blonde
hilarious
streak
to look.
and skinny jeans.
you
That
were-
is your new Halloween costume for next year.
You were just alternative.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Alt.
My personality is all over the place. It's hilarious.
feel-
I kind of want to see that now. Like Halloween, that's got to come back. Halloween, Mitchell's bringing back the blonde streak.
Maybe we need to
My
have
skinny
parents
jeans.
would kill me if I brought back the blonde.
maybe we need
streak.
to hype up a Halloween party for the bass team. Maybe we'll do a little.
Hopefully, COVID's
Maybe we can find some.
basically done.
Maybe we can find some footage. Take some footage at this Halloween party that's YouTube
Friendly.
friendly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Friendly. That's
Friendly.
a good word.
God.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the bass team? You happy you joined?
Oh yeah. I've met guys that I'll be friends with for the rest of my life. And I can call them at any time. I think if I need anything. So that kind of. But I enjoy it.
It really is a brotherhood.
Mhm.
It is.
Like it sounds so cliche, but
And what's funny is that like you do have guys like you've had, like you definitely. It's like almost like your brothers. Like
Mhm.
you have issues with some of your brothers, and you may have disagreements, but at the end of the day, you all know where y'all stand.
Mhm.
right.
And I mean that's just
And you can clear the air and you can move on.
yeah. I mean it's,
With bad blood or
Yeah.
or good blood.
well then there are certain people that kind of, and they kind of still. And I think that's the way it is. Like you always get that one brother you just can't.
Mhm.
It just aggravates you.
Yeah.
I don't have any brothers, but so I don't know. I mean, but
Who aggravates you?
I'm gonna keep that to myself. It's not anybody on the team now. I'll just say that. Like,
Okay.
it's not any current members.
Okay.
There's a couple former members, and I think they know who they are.
Mhm.
Like somebody deserved to tote one day at a tournament. I'm not gonna say who it is, but if he ever raised his voice at me like that again, I promise you I was gonna put him through the pavement. Like, I'm not even joking.
I like where this conversation is
Mhm.
going.
But even like to add on, not to the disagreement part.
No,
like,
but
like there's still guys who have graduated who I still talk to very frequently.
Absolutely, yeah.
there's not a lot of guys that graduated because honestly, I got there really, really late for them guys.
Mm-hmm.
But like guys on the team now, we have. I think everybody has that core group they really hang out with a ton.
Yeah.
But I think
for
everybody
sure.
does not have a problem hanging out with each other in a whole.
I
No,
wouldn't even-
no, I agree with
Yeah.
that 100%.
And I wouldn't call it like there's like if you think back to high school, there was cliques.
There's
like
little
people
cliques
hang
within
out.
the team.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not even cliques.
No, because because
because
with cliques, you disagree with them completely. And
or you don't talk to anyone else.
right. You still talk to everybody on the team.
There's
That's
friend
true.
groups within the team.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's,
But I don't think at any point in
there's
time,
no,
I think anybody can go hang out with each member of the team and still be, hey, we're cool.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
like there's nobody on the team. Like, say I was downtown and I was hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah.
If I saw them, there's nobody on the team where I'm like, oh crap, let's avoid them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's always good fun. And that's the great thing. Like, we can all go hang out downtown and run around and have some fun. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you do have a problem with somebody, you can talk with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you say, listen,
We're all on a very open level.
yeah, I mean, it's a very open dialogue between
It
all of
is.
us. And I don't
And
think,
I really like that about the team.
but, yeah, what else we talk about? Yeah.
We're just talking about everything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Nothing
just running.
specifically.
Nothing really.
What tournaments you got coming up, Ethan?
I got one this weekend on Seminole that I'm looking forward to. The
Where y'all
guy,
putting in that?
Bagley State Park.
Okay.
What's that?
It's mid lake area. It's actually on the lake. It's the
Is that the state park near
Yes.
Fish Pond Drain?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around in there. Raised Lake area, Fish Pond,
Okay,
stuff
yeah,
like
okay.
that.
I got you.
I'm really looking forward to the guy I'm fishing with. I drew out with. He won it last year, so I'm really excited because he's a hammer in general. I mean, with our just trying to make our club, the way our club sets up back home is you fish tournaments throughout the year and trying to make the classic. I'm sitting at 4th in points right now. So
How much tournaments you got left?
we've got next month we've got our regular tournament, which is April the 10th, and then we got our 2-day, which we have
Okay.
3 2-day events throughout the year. We have one in April, one in June, July, somewhere there. Always at UFall. It's a half-day tournament. You put in. I think you put in early, like break of dawn, like I mean crack of daylight. You're blasting off, and you'll fish till lunchtime, somewhere in there, 1-2 o'clock, and then you'll do that for 2 days, and then we have our fall 2-day, which is usually we go like to Lay, Mitchell, Logan Martin, Jordan, somewhere in there, and it's usually daylight till 4:30.
Okay.
Like it's not like oh I'm fishing 8 hours. No, you're fishing like 12 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, we fished one at Seminole, a regular tournament, 1-day tournament. We blasted off at 4:30, like it was cracking daylight, 4:30,
Okay.
and we
In
didn't.
summer, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was summer, and we fished till 4:30.
Oh my, that's a long day.
And when it's 95, 100 degrees out there,
yeah.
you're just pouring sweat. I don't care how much sunscreen you put on or how many
I mean, you could die
cold
out there.
rags or how much. I think I went through a half a case of water that day.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
I mean, you just drink water. I mean, body armor.
Yeah.
Body armor helps, but at 100 degrees and you're just
Nothing helps
you're
with that
drenched.
temperature.
No. And
And the humidity we got
Oh my
around here.
gosh.
in this
the
area.
gnats
Yeah.
and the mosquitoes.
Yeah, if there's no wind blowing and them hydrilla gnats start messing with you.
Ain't even got to be hydrilla gnats. It's just on the aggravating gnats.
I remember fishing on Lake Wilson at night in the summer one time. The amount of I couldn't fish because there were so many.
Really?
It was uncomfortable. Like they just kept. I don't know what it is. Like
It's
just flying
terrible.
into you. And it's just
I mean,
annoying.
they're the most aggravating. It's just like it. Like you try to deal with it, and if you're not catching fish, and you're just like a little stressed out or whatever, like
They
drive you bonkers.
But I will say, going off of that, Lake Wilson, one of the most underrated lakes in America.
gosh.
I have heard that.
When they
It's
have
my favorite lake to fish.
they have the ACA. They used to. They moved it this year. They moved it to somewhere else this year. The national championship was up there for I think 10 years or 15 up there at Pickwick. And you can fish Pickwick and Wilson and lock through.
Yep.
And I had a practice day up there at Wilson. I think we caught 20, 30 fish that day.
Does not surprise me.
But they were
the fish you
I
catch
think
on
we had
Wilson are good.
I think we had like 19 pounds. I mean, it was ridiculous. We had a 4 and a 3. anchoring that thing. And I was like, it was like a big 3. It was like a 380 something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, but there's some big fish up there, but there are some small fish up there.
Yeah.
But I got a buddy back home that guides up there on Wilson, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to do this and this and this when you go up there and fish it." I'm like, "What do you throw?" He goes, "Oh, I'm throwing shiners." Well, I can't throw shiners in a tournament.
Yeah, that don't count.
That don't
Come
count.
on
Yeah.
now.
There are people who whack like.
Oh yeah.
It's not common, but it's not uncommon. It's not
Right.
unheard of.
Right.
To catch an 8-pound smallmouth.
Oh no. What's the state record? 8 something?
No, it's 10.
No, it's
12.
not 10, 12.
Smallmouth?
Yes, it is because the world record was for smallmouth was out of Wilson.
Yeah,
No, in the 50s.
Yeah, it's like 8:14.
No, I can guarantee you it's over 10. I will put $20 on this right now. It's over 10.
Ooh.
All right.
I'm looking it up.
I will Venmo.
I'm about to make $20 now.
We're talking about the state of Alabama, right?
State of
Yes,
Alabama.
the state of Alabama.
Smallmouth record. Because the world record was
8:11 or
8:14
8:14.
in 52, I believe. I knew it. Yeah, 10-8.
The state of Alabama record for a smallmouth bass. 10 pounds, 8 ounces.
I told you.
What was that called?
1952?
The Wheeler Dam.
That's
head
Oh,
Wilson.
they caught it off of Wheeler.
No.
The head,
Wheeler
the
Dam.
tail
Oh,
wasn't.
yes.
Lake.
It's
That
the
was-
Wheeler Dam.
1952? Is that right?
It doesn't show a date.
Yeah, it does. Oh, God, it don't show the date.
If you click it,
I
it should
can
show
go to the
it. It was in the
website.
50s. It was way back when, I believe. It was not recent. I can tell you that much.
1950.
Okay.
Okay. See, I think the largest one caught off of Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pickwick is 8'11", I think so. If you look, I
Fay?
mean, yeah, because
Yeah, okay.
they don't really grow that big on.
I don't think you could find them now that big. Just because
There's one out there.
I mean,
Out
was the
there that's-
TVA even dammed at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, the TVA was dammed a long time ago.
it was the 30s.
Like the
30s or
30s, right?
40 some back in
Because it
there.
was part of the New Dealer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was
Yeah.
part of
Thanks
the
to FDR.
recovery of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
We're getting into history.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do
We're
that.
talking about everything
I
tonight.
don't know. We're covering all our bases.
What else do we want to
I
talk
have a
about?
question. I don't know if I should ask it, though.
You need to ask it.
Okay, so, on the team, who do you think is the best fisherman overall? Because I have one guy in mind.
Overall bass fishing or overall fishing?
Bass fishing.
Okay.
Which species are we talking about?
Just in general. Because I have one guy in mind. who
My
I think-
answer is going to surprise y'all very much.
I'm very
Okay.
torn on this.
Like,
Because, I mean, okay.
I
not
mean,
that
we've
it's
got
not
some
gonna-
good guys that are
Oh, no,
good
we have a
largemouth,
lot
and
of
we've
good
got some good
guys.
guys that are good smallmouth, and then
Mhm.
we've got guys who are excellent spot fishermen.
Mhm.
And
But overall, but
but
like
over all three of them,
and the thing is, like, there is a lot of good fishermen on this team. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
It makes
I
it
mean-
hard. But for me, there's one guy who sticks out.
My answer, and he's been
And this isn't supposed to, like,
Yeah,
piss
yeah.
anybody off or anything.
no, I mean this is our opinion.
Because
just as far
what?
as being a well-rounded angler, someone who I feel like you can put him anywhere and he's going to figure out how to
Yeah.
catch him. I'm going Canada Rob.
That's my answer.
See, I thought about Canadian Rob. I really did. I was like,
Like,
but
he just
he catches
just-
them. I mean, he figures out how to catch a
he just
limit.
understands bass fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chase Clark.
Okay.
I fish with Chase Clark. I've seen what he does and how he breaks down the water.
Chase is a beast.
Chase, I mean, they really know. I mean, he knows how to catch them too. I mean, and what's funny is they kind of fish together, so that kind of makes it a real.
Yeah,
But I fish with Chase. Chase knows a lot about fishing. He knows
does.
a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
oh yeah, I mean, and he really. The only thing I don't think there's really a guy who really is good that sticks out that really just slow fish knows how to slow fish the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like when there's
Slow fishing is a thing of the past.
Yet I still love to do it.
Oh, I love it. Like
I do it too.
if
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
my thing.
fish a tournament. I'll be fishing. I'm like, I just feel comfortable, but I'm just like in my head, I'm just
Like,
fishing too slow. I know I'm fishing too slow right now.
I
but
feel like
keep
I
doing
am
it.
that guy that when I come into an area and I catch two fish out of it, you're gonna hate to come back behind me because I'm going to catch. If there's 5 fish in that area, I'm gonna catch them, or at least sore mouth them. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a hook in them.
Yeah.
That's just not even because that's the way I was taught. I was taught you slow down, you break down the area. When you break down that area, you fish everything in that. I mean, that's what's funny. The first tournament I fished with first tournament I fished a couple years ago. We were fishing on what lake was it? Mitchell. Me and Chase Clark were fishing on Mitchell, and I pull up to the boat ramp. I got like 30 rods on the deck, 30 or 40 rods on the deck of my boat, and they're like, I think you robbed Bass Pro Shops on the way down. I go, no, this is literally what. And I had something different tied on every single rod. And the one thing I didn't really, I normally throw, and this is what I've always thrown. Dad throws them, so I kind of throw what he throws. He threw War Eagle spinner baits. Yep. And they are great spinner baits for this time of the year. That's just what he throws, so I ended up throwing them. I didn't have one. Yeah. That was the first tournament I don't think I've ever had. I did not have a single War Eagle in my boat. And Chase Clark beat my rear end out of my boat on my spots. And we finished 4th.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
4th or 5th, something like that. I'll have to go back. It's on my Instagram feed. It's not hard to find because I don't post that much. I'm like one of the 40-year-old dads that don't post anything. But it was just ridiculous. I mean, we didn't catch but 5. Yeah. But Dad went and practiced before, and he's like, I'm going to run the boat, make sure things are good. We hadn't fished it in a while. He goes out and catches like 16 pounds in practice, and I'm like, and he's sending me these pictures. I'm like, we about to go wreck them. Like, this ain't even. And we didn't get about 5 or 6 bites all day. We called once.
Jeez.
I mean, it was, but now the bites we're getting were
the right
quality. I think we had like 12 pounds or something.
There's some giants
but
in that lake.
There's a picture on my Instagram that Dad when he was on Mitchell. And that was the tournament. Him and his partner had 42 pounds.
And 5 fish?
No, that was they had 10
fish. Okay.
They had 10 fish limit. They had 42 pounds. I mean, you think about that.
Yeah, no,
that's a haul.
That's a haul.
That is a haul.
A little under 4 1/4 average.
I mean, they were catching some giant spots, and they won that tournament by like. He said, and he tells the story. He goes, "Yeah," he said they had some young guns that were coming up in the club, and they're like, "Yeah, man, we just y'all old guys, we just about to beat the brakes off y'all. Y'all ain't." He's like, "Yeah, we'll do what we can." I mean, and he goes out there and catches 42 pounds, and they're like, "We just got our teeth kicked in." Like that, I think they caught 12 pounds between the two of them. Jeez. 10 fish, 12 pounds. Like that is a struggle day if you've ever had one. Yeah. Like you can at least catch 1 2-pounder in that thing. No, you catch in pound 2s. Yeah. I mean, that was nasty. I mean, and Dad just started, he said, every time he tells that story, and I've heard it from multiple guys that tell that story, and they said that was some of the guys, that was the first time they'd ever seen my dad fish. Huh. And they were like, we might just get our money taken from us every single time. And see, back in the 90s and early 2000s, he used to fish. They used to fish every first tournament of the year in January. It was on Martin. Okay. And he fished Martin, and he won. There's like 6 years in a row. He won it on Martin every single year. They will not go to a spot lake in January ever again. Like that I think they put that in the bylaws. We're not allowed to go to a spot lake in January because they get their teeth kicked in. And I was like, and it's just when you have 20, almost 30 years of experience on fishing spots, that kind of, I mean, and then again, that's why you talk about the guys being most versatile we were talking about earlier. Right. Experience matters when it goes to tournaments, and that was something we were watching. I was watching the MLF at Eufaula, and they were talking about Mark Davis and how he made it to the final day. But you know what he was fishing like? If you go watch Denny Brower and all them back in the day fishing on Eufaula, he was fishing old school Eufaula, taking a jig, dragging a worm, and you just fish slow. And there was a comment made by KVD. He said, I just can't fish that slow. That's just too slow for me. Yeah, he made it top 10, and where were you sitting? I mean, and again, not a knock on Kevin Van Dam, but sometimes you fish too fast, you miss the fish. Sometimes fish is too slow, you miss the fish too.
You got to let the fish tell
you
you
got to
what they
tell
want.
you what the fish do.
Mark Davis is just that old textbook definition of paw fishing. But look at how many checks he cashes.
Exactly.
Doing that.
And that's why I like Mark Davis and Mark Rose. Those guys fish so slow. But when it comes to time to pick it up and move, they can do it.
Yeah.
Like there's times, but now if they can fish slow and beat your brakes, and they don't have to burn as much energy as you do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing is, like, I think about these guys who fish. I mean, they're burning it. Trolling motor 100 all day. Wide open. When they get back in at the end of the day, when you're fishing for 3 days and your fish are 4 or 5, depending on practice, and you're wide open for 5 days, when you go to lay down at night, you're dead.
You're dead.
You're crashed.
100%.
And the guys who fish slow, there's the guys the second days of the tournament are going, alrighty, we're still good. They're going. There's the guys going into day 3. They're going, I still got a little bit left in the tank. I can go beat y'all. And I think I don't think it's not about your spot or your mindset. I think it's about your energy level.
Yeah.
Like when you get to those 3-day tournaments,
I agree with that.
It's all about how much you got left in the tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ones that are going to dig down deep and find that little bit.
Both energy-wise and what you got to fish.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what you got to fish helps. I mean, it's if you got a good sack of fish, you go catch. I mean, there was something somebody said one time on the pros. He goes, 15 pounds. He said, if you catch 15 pounds at every tournament, every day, you'll win Angler of the Year.
Yeah.
100%.
I believe that.
And he said, it doesn't matter where you're at. He goes, you can be down in Florida and you can be getting your teeth kicked in and finished 82nd place. But there'll be those tournaments where 15 pounds, you'll be sitting top 1 or 2.
Yeah. You go to Beaver Lake, you catch 15 pounds a day, or Martin,
or
one of these highland reservoirs, you catching 15 pounds a day, you're going to win the thing.
They went to, they just come off the Tennessee River for BASS.
You catch 15 pounds a day there?
What did Gussie catch? They caught, 15 pounds a day? Ended up with, for 4 days, he ended up with like 63 pounds.
He was like 60-something.
Oh, man, that's 15 pounds a day right there.
Yeah.
15 and some change every day. I mean, that's what it takes to win these tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Angler of the Year is harder to win because you got to be good.
You got to be consistent.
Consistent for every single.
Consistency.
But more prestigious is winning like your national championships, your classics, your stuff like that. And I don't think I'm not taking anyone for guys. I mean, Roland Martin's probably the greatest angler of the year of all time. 9-time angler of the year. Never won a classic.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. But that does not take anything away from him. He is a great angler. Legendary Hall of Famer. I mean,
look at him now. He's still busting 30-pound bags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I think when it comes to fishing, it's got the big time tournaments get you the notoriety. The classics, the FLW championships, the MLF Red Crest, the heavy hitters, stuff like that. That gets you the notoriety.
Definitely.
I don't think people. I think people overthink or underthink, I should say.
They're overlooked.
They overlook the Angler of the Years because you don't realize how they think. Oh well, so and so's win.
I think it's way bigger.
I think it's
that.
it's harder to win an Angler of the Year.
100%.
No, it's not. It's like, oh, this guy, he's just consistent because you get people go, oh, they're consistently catching them.
Someone's getting a call.
But
I don't even know who it is.
So no, answer it.
We're gonna get him on the podcast here.
It's Logan's girlfriend.
Oh my gosh!
Recording
Cutting the podcast right now.
Logan's girlfriend is FaceTime Dirty Mike during the podcast.
Wait, what?
Oh gosh.
I'm still trying to figure out what she's talking about.
Some girl got punched in the stomach, maybe.
Ah. Go ahead and do it right
Oh,
now.
this is going to be on the podcast. Everybody say hi to Caitlin.
This is
He's not
perfect.
here.
This is perfect timing.
I mean, we needed a great little
Well,
co-worker.
you're taking Logan's spot on the podcast tonight. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, my.
Oh my gosh.
That was fantastic.
That was
Just
great.
a little guest
guest
appearance
appearance right there.
by Caitlin Kirby.
Oh.
She's going to see this and realize you do not have her number saved.
It's gonna
Oops.
go. Oops.
But all right, we've been talking for a while. Let's get into some housekeeping.
Okay.
We have someone who won a giveaway,
Yes.
and he has not claimed his prize.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your prize?
So, Davis F. If I'm
Davis
remembering
F.
cor-
That's
I'll,
it.
I'll make sure it's right. I'll go back and comment on your comment on the Jordan Lee podcast, and remind you need to contact us either through Instagram or Facebook. I will make sure that rod gets shipped out to you because we want to fulfill our giveaways, so they're not, we're not just saying we're giving away something and it never happens.
Exactly. We're trying to give you this setup, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift. It's a good setup. It's Jordan Lee's.
Exactly.
I
It's
mean,
a nice rod.
Hey, 2-time classic champion.
Yes,
Nice
I mean,
rod and reel. It's a good combo.
I mean, hey, it's hard to beat.
I really think. Let's say Davis F doesn't hit us up.
Mm-hmm.
You comment on this video, and he doesn't hit us up by the time we film our next podcast. We'll send that combo to one of the comments for tonight's video.
Yep.
Right? We good with that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair. I mean, it's been like
all of this
4 weeks.
Should we mention all this on Instagram or something
Yes,
like that?
we will
or
go.
should we not? And just for the people who are watching all the way through.
You know, I like that. We're
For the
putting
dedicated fans who watch all the way
it's
through.
it's at the end of the
have a
podcast.
chance.
If you're here and you're hearing this and you comment and Davis F has not given us the details we need to get him his gift, we're going to select one of you guys and send it to you. So comment, put War Damn Eagle, AU Bass Team, make a comment. Tell us something we're doing bad.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Hey, tell us something we're doing good.
Tell us how much you
or
love
that.
Tell us how much you love Ethan Gilmore. Let us know, and if Davis hasn't claimed his prize and given us the info we need to get him his prize, we'll pick one of you guys. So,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I like that. You like that, Ethan?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's hard to beat.
Hey, it's hard to beat.
It is.
Hey, like you'd comment, hard to beat on the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
that. Do
yeah,
that. Do that.
yeah. You know
Hard
what?
to beat.
You need to write hard to beat or H2B.
One of the two.
Yep, H2B or hard
And
to beat.
you do that, and you're subscribed, and you're obviously watching our video because you're in the comments.
Oh, yeah, you got to follow the Instagram. You got to follow us on. I don't think we even have Facebook anymore.
Oh, no, yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Instagram,
6,000 likes or
Facebook,
something,
YouTube. You got to subscribe all
That's
of
it. So do that and let us know.
Just before we wrap it up, we want to give a big thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Parks for letting us
Yep.
still come over here and
Oh, yeah.
record this podcast with Logan being out of town.
Logan's out of town, preparing for a derby.
And they have been gracious enough to still
but-
let us come here. And
Very nice people, beautiful home, and they let us film this here. So
They put
shout
up
out to the Parks estate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They putting up with the shenanigans down here.
oh yes,
And keep up with us. We're
we got some big things coming. I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit.
I'm cramping so bad in my leg. We got some big things coming up. We have some big companies that really support our team.
Mm-hmm. We cannot do any of this without them.
And they support some guys who are being very successful in bass fishing right now.
I want to give a big shout out.
Well, don't we can't give it away.
Yeah.
We got to hold on to those words. We got to hype it up.
Hype them up a little bit.
And let's just say, big name guy, big name personality. We have a sponsorship, a partnership in common with him. We're going to do what we got to do to get him on this show. Mm-hmm. And I will say, in more than one way, he's a rival.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, if that helps you
narrow it down a little bit,
think about who we're talking about. We're not going to give you a name.
Oh, no.
We're not going to do it. But my dog is killing it. I like him. I love watching what he's putting out, the content he's putting out. And we're going to do what it takes to get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it'll be a good time. Maybe next week. It might not be next week. We gotta figure it out.
It might be.
We are in communication. Let's just say that. Let's leave it there. We're in communication with him, and we're looking forward to some big things. And we got other big things coming.
Oh yeah.
We got more giveaways coming. We got some great partners who really want to give some merchandise, some apparel, some gear away. And we're gonna make it happen. So y'all keep following. What you got left to say? Say something. Say something.
Y'all go check out our sponsors merch. Like, y'all go check out the merch they got. Abbott Garcia, Berkeley,
Blue
Otter, yeah.
Extra
Lawrence.
tough.
Y'all got Lawrence. Go check out that new Ghost Trail motor. That thing is awesome. They doing some good stuff.
Also, go check out our merch store.
Oh yeah.
I'll link it down in the comments.
We're gonna link that. We're gonna link
in the description. Sorry.
We're gonna link my boy Hard to Beat's Instagram.
It'll be showing up.
Oh yeah,
right below you.
And it's not hard to beat. So if you're looking for that,
don't search Hard to Beat.
Don't search Hard to Beat.
That's just what we call them.
If you could change it to Hard to Beat, that'd be fantastic. Like if Hard to Beat by itself is open, I would take that.
Hard to Beat fishing. That'd be badass.
I need to look at that. But
that would be really cool.
Now don't do like Hard to Beat 12.
But no. If Hard to Beat is open, oh yeah.
Got to do it. I changed mine to Dirty Mike Fishing.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm doing it.
Full send. Just full send it.
I was at Skybar when I made that decision. Tucker Smith talked me into it. I said, all right, bet.
That's great.
Bet.
God.
So follow me at Dirty Mike Fishing. We got anything else? Did I miss anything?
I think so.
I think I've covered it all.
I think we're good.
Well, guys, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you following, supporting the Bass team. This is what we love to do. We love our Bass team, our Bass fam, so we appreciate it. So, War Eagle to y'all.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right.
See ya.
I'll see y'all.
See ya.